I agree.
Okay. A komomai again to all people who happen to be watching our episode of the video series Kahuakai, The Journey, and basically the journeys of Pacific Islanders who have relocated to the mainland for one reason or another and currently live and function and do very well up here. So tonight we've got a very special guest, mostly because she's a fellow Kamehameha graduate, Nimua, Diane Nalani Gib Lahadni, who resides in Iowa in what city?
I'm in Des Moines.
Okay, good, good, good. Now, a good place to start is at the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Ka'ava, Oahu, on Oahu, obviously, and gosh, 1964.
Okay, that's an isolated part of the island. How
A
did
little
your
bit.
how did your parents end up out there?
My mom is from Ka'ava, so
Okay.
yeah, and her whole family is a lot of them are still there. My dad was from Kauai, and they actually met at City College in San Francisco.
Wow, of all places, huh?
Hmm.
Cool. Where did you go to elementary school?
Kamehameha.
So you started in kindergarten?
No, I was first grade, so 12-year
Oh,
senior. Yeah.
okay. Wow.
Hmm.
So you'd have to get up at old dark 30 and catch the bus every morning.
Exactly, at Anzai's. We had to walk all the way up to Anzai's and catch the bus when it was still dark.
Wow. So what time would you say you'd have to catch the bus?
Oh my gosh, we got up at least, I think it was close to 5, and we had to be at the bus by 5:45.
And what time would you get home after school?
Oh my gosh, 6:30, 7 o'clock, depending on how I got home.
Would have been nice to have been a boarder, huh?
Oh, it would have. It would have. You
Awesome, awesome. Let's see. Could you share with us what had you make the decision to leave Hawaii and end up on the mainland?
Oh, that one's an easy one. Um, my dad was the chief of police for the city and county of Honolulu back in the 80s when I graduated, and that island got very, very small then. Everybody knew everybody, and I couldn't get away with anything. One time I got busted in Waikiki. Waikiki was off limits for me. I was told for no uncertain circumstances are you to go to Waikiki. And we were just going to a movie and we got pulled over in a random check. And there I was in the car, and 2 seconds later, my dad found out. And so he was pretty strict. And so I wanted to go pretty far where I could, exercise my freedom.
Was Iowa your first stop?
No, I had looked at schools in Portland and on the East Coast. I actually came to Drake University in Des Moines because I had never been here. It was one place that I had never visited, and I just decided to have an adventure.
Yeah. When you started college, did you have a particular major in mind, or you just wanted to attend college?
No, absolutely. Drake University was one of the top 5 small schools for law school, and I had intended on going to law school.
With thoughts of becoming a lawyer, or
Absolutely, environmental law.
oh, oh, yeah, interesting point right there.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's see. So you came up to Drake. Have you lived in any other states besides Iowa since you've been on the mainland?
I have not. I've been in Iowa pretty much since I graduated high school.
Okay. So let's see.
I spent summers up in Green Bay. I had a boyfriend, and I spent summers he was a farm kid from Green Bay, Wisconsin, north of Green Bay, actually. So I spent summers up there, which is why I'm a Packers fan.
There's always a reason why, right?
Yeah, there's always a reason.
Did you meet him at Drake?
I did.
Okay, you weren't out cruising Green Bay one day and went, oh, how's that?
No. He was a wrestler at Drake, and yeah. I dated him for a number of years and just fell in love with the people up there. The people of Green Bay are so nice.
Oh, wow, cool.
Hmm.
Now, while you were at Drake, were there any other Hawaii students?
Absolutely. When I came in 1982, there were 13 of us that came.
Oh.
Hmm.
How big is Drake? What's the student body?
Drake is pretty small. I think it's around 4,000 right now. It's a fairly small with the students that are there full time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so 13's not bad, I guess.
No.
Could be better for 4,000. Let's see. So tell us about your job in Iowa.
Oh
What
my
do you
God.
do?
Oh, what do? I am a small business owner. I have a health food store. So actually two. I actually started shopping at this store when I was a student at Drake, and I would pick up sandwiches and salads, and I actually would hang out there trying to figure out how to help my then boyfriend become a better wrestler, in the sense that he was 250 pounds and he was cutting to 190, and he was having a lot of trouble with that. And I just thought there could be a better way, so I started hanging around this little health food store, not too far from Drake University. I could walk. And one day I locked my keys in the car, and the owner said, "You should just get a job. You get a good discount." And I said, "Well, shoots, I'll do it." And subsequently, several years later, I was able to purchase the store from him.
Okay, so you opened the second location.
Yes, I actually had 4 stores at one time, but Des Moines has always been a struggle to get people to help, to work. And so
I
I've
think
closed.
that's nationwide
Yeah.
now. I mean,
Yeah. Well, 15 years ago, it was really bad in Des Moines. I mean, it was less than 2% unemployment in the city. I was having a lot of trouble, and I had employed all my family members. I mean, I had pulled everybody, and my mom and dad had moved from Hawaii to come up. Then my dad was doing the baking. My mom was doing the books. I mean, I had pulled in every family member that I could. Even my brother had moved up for a while to help me, and it was exhausting. So I closed 2 stores, and now I just have the 2 stores.
okay, so when you purchased it, it already had the name.
Yes.
Okay. Up to this point, I've been trying to think, what's the connection? You got 4 names on your listing already. Is there room for one more name in there?
Yeah, I wanted to change it, but it's an 85-year-old store, and so a lot of people know. Even back in the early days when I would go to trade shows and stuff, Joe Weider would be there, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They knew the owner of Campbell's. I mean, that the community back then of natural was so small. Jack LaLanne, if that rings a bell with anybody,
Yeah.
they all knew Campbell's Nutrition, and so I felt like maybe I should keep the name.
And I've seen it happen here. There was a long time electrician, uh, what do you call it? They come to your house, fix electrical problems. And the 2 brothers that ran it were going to retire. And this company came in, bought it, changed the name, repainted all the trucks with their national name. Business just went,
Yeah.
because the town I live in is only 10,000 people.
Ah,
So it's really who you know, not
it
what
is.
you know.
It is, and word of
So,
mouth. And I think the name is important. The reputation is part of who you are. So
yeah. So does your husband help you at the store?
only he grows jade plants. He's retired. He's a physical therapist, and he grows jade plants, and I sell them at the store. And then he goes and he helps me fix things, like my kegerator was down for kombucha, and he comes and he's very, very handy. He's a MacGyver of sorts, and so he comes and he helps, and we do loads, that kind of the manual labor. But he does not want to be a part of the family business.
Now educate me a little bit. what is the health benefit of a jade plant?
Oh, there isn't one except that you just love it and it brings you joy to look at it. And he is so good at it. My mom gave me one 25 years ago, and subsequently we have hundreds and hundreds of offshoots from this plant. And people just started asking us for them. And then pretty soon we were like, well, maybe we should put a price tag on this 70, 80 of them that we get every year from this main plant. And we sell them pretty cheap. And I will tell you that we have met people from Hawaii that way. We sell them at our other location, and several of them have led to conversations with people like, oh, you're from Kona, like, wow. And I mean, just we've broadened our community just by selling jade plants because people from Hawaii love them, so
That's right on. Good, good. Now, I live in Minnesota, and I know for me, winters are pretty rough. First couple of years I was up here, it almost tipped the scales to where I didn't want to end up living here. I hated winter so much. To get yourself or to enjoy your life in Des Moines, Iowa, what do you do for recreation?
well, this year I'm learning to ice fish. So, and we're lucky enough to have a big enough yard that when the kids were small, we used to sled and ski and that kind of thing. But I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I'm like I'm a hermit. I'm like, once it's cold, I come home, I make a fire, or my husband makes a fire, and I'm down for the count. Like, you can't get me out. There are people like, oh, let's go out for dinner. I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm staying home. I'm already home. And now I gotta go get in the cold car. No. So
Yeah,
not too
winters for
much.
me are tough. I've got to create things to do, and a lot of it's indoors. I mean, I do a lot of Zoom participation in speaking groups and business idea kind of things, and so I like doing that kind of thing. And but yeah, as far as stepping outdoors, and I had a bad experience in, I think it was late 18, early 19. I slipped on a patch of ice and broke my leg,
Oh,
and I was off work for like 7 months because of the type of break it was. And now, I mean, I if there's ice on the ground now, I wear cleats. Even if I got to go back in the house to go get them, it's just really paranoid about the whole situation, and I just don't like being out there when it's single digit negatives and the wind's blowing.
mm. Oh, I
Get
get
where
it.
we're going. Do what you gotta do.
You get
Get
home,
back home. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
So, how big is your family? How many kids?
just two.
Okay. Are they at home still or out on
Thankfully,
their own?
no, no, no. The last one moved, the youngest one moved out last year.
Okay. Are they connected day to day with camels?
Actually, they are. My oldest daughter, Emma, she owns a home not too far from me. I was lucky enough to hire her about 4 years ago to manage our second location.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And her ability to manage the second store came from being raised in and around the store, or did she go school to enhance that, or what?
Not at all. She went to UH for 2 years, and then came to Iowa State, and then had launched her own career in real estate and agricultural real estate in particular, and was doing very, very well at it. And I mean, I really needed her. And so I had to make it very, very attractive. But right now she's in the Goldman Sachs business program. She's, I think, graduating tomorrow from that program. And so it's opened up a lot of, it's given her a lot of insight as to how a small business actually works. People think you just get rich, you just open the doors and people buy stuff, and then you get to put all that money in your pockets and buy fancy cars and stuff. She's learning a lot, and I'm so grateful to the program, really, for opening her eyes on that one.
Yeah, since probably the late 80s, I've been self-employed maybe 4 different times, and you know, you hear it from the uneducated ones that say, oh, so you work for yourself. You can go in at 10 and take off at 4. It's like, I work 3 times as many hours as when I was employed.
Yeah, I always tell people, they always like, "Oh, you can make your own hours. Why do you work all the time?" And I say, "Well, yeah, I get to pick any 80 hours of the week I want to work, you know." I'm so lucky.
Yeah, I have that flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I want the 80 hours early, I can do that. If I want to
Except
get
if a
gung ho, I
freezer
can
goes
jump into
down or
90.
yeah, yeah.
So let's see, your two locations are about the same size.
Roughly. Yeah, we're expanding the second location, so they're roughly about 7,000 square feet.
How big a staff at each store?
Oh, the second store only has 4 people, but the other store has 20.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of the work at the main store for the second store.
Yeah. Are
Mhm.
they all longtime staff? You're comfortable with them? You can put your faith in them, or
I have a core group. I have a
okay.
great core group, a lot of people that have been with us for 20 plus years.
Wow.
Um, but then I have a peripheral group that's always changing, as even as of last week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched TV too late last night. I cannot come in this
yeah.
morning.
It's more like I was gaming. I was gaming too late. I'm tired. I'm not feeling it today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whole
I've been
different ball.
experiencing that just looking at younger employees in places I work recently, and it just the attitude's so very different.
It is, and it's not the work ethic I grew up with, that's for sure. My 81-year-old mom works every day. She works 7 days a week, and she can outwork anybody, including me. Just amazing work ethic.
Yeah. What nationality is your mom?
She's Hawaiian Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That was like my mom. She had this much Hawaiian and that much Chinese. So luckily,
My
my
mom's
dad had enough to get me into Kamehameha comfortably. So
half.
I end up somehow mathematically with a quarter. So it worked, but not for Hawaiian homes, would work for almost anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Now, share your thoughts, if you would, or maybe memories of why you choose to continue to live in Iowa and not just pack up and go back to Hawaii.
Well, the first 20, 25 years, the whole goal was to move home, right? Is to be successful and have enough money that you can buy a house and live comfortably. And then it sort of changed because I realized that that probably wasn't going to happen, in the sense that what would I do when I get there? I mean, my skill set is not everyone's skill set. And I after visiting and visiting and visiting, it became clear that maybe that just wasn't going to happen for me, especially when my folks moved up. My folks gave up everything and moved up here 24 years ago. And then my brother gave up quite a bit and he moved here, and they're all very involved in the business. I would not be able to do any of it without them. And it became sort of apparent to me that if I moved back to Hawaii, that would be sort of like ditching all of them after they're all freezing, right?
Yeah.
It was harsh, but I mean, the ultimate goal would be to get back. I just, as a small business owner, you just can't sell it. You just can't walk up, just put a for sale sign on it. I'm very much bound to this business. It's very much a part of me now. And it's really kind of part of my identity at this point. I have a lot of
Oh
pride in it.
yeah. So much you can't even give a value to the blood, sweat, and tears, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Is your brother older or younger than you?
Younger.
Okay.
He's
Did he come up with
almost
a
graduate.
family or
He has a family. His wife is a flight attendant with Hawaiian.
oh
So
okay.
they have a kind of a commuter situation. His son was up here for school for several years, but now he just got into Kamehameha as a freshman. his wife, and Cully's wife also went to Kamehameha, and my brother also went there, and so it's kind of a very important goal for them to have.
Legacy thing, right?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
So your nephew got into Kapalama, or
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know if it's a matter of pride, but it's tough for me to even mentally accept Maui and Big Island campuses as even being like,
Yeah, I know. Like where? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is hard. I'm happy about it for sure, but yeah, to me it's just Kapalama.
That's great. Yeah. Did you play sports in high school?
I did not.
Okay.
I was in music, and then we dabbled in some other stuff, but no, I did not play sports.
So
I lived in
currently,
Ava. Who's going to take me? I feel like everything I wanted to join, they were like, "Whoa! I mean, who's going to come pick you up?" You know, that sort of thing.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So do you play instruments, musical
I
instruments?
do. I do play a couple of instruments. I do play piano, and in high school I played flute, marching band, and all of that, jazz band. Hmm.
Was have to remember because I was not in band, but was Mr. Lorch still working when you were up there?
No, it was John Riggle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he took us to Rose Bowl. He took us to New York. I mean, I got to travel, and we got to do the Rose Parade in Portland. I mean, it really opened up a lot of travel opportunities for me.
And that was one of the things where I would look at the band students and think, they kind of have some good benefits going on,
Yeah.
except for when they'd be sitting in the stands and it was cold in Hawaii standards at the game. Everybody could bundle up and take whatever those steps were. The poor band people would be there in their uniforms and playing, but no warmth of any kind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know it's so crazy when people who've never been or don't know, when I tell them, boy, it dropped down to mid 60s and, you'd be getting so cold, they're like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, the elevation too of Kapalama, I was a border, and there would be nights when you'd really be pretty chilled.
Yeah.
Might have actually dropped down to 61.
Yeah. And you had sweaters and jackets and socks and everything. I remember too, what we thought was cold, we had no idea. We had
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea, especially you being up in Minnesota.
Yeah. And I've kind of adapted to where it's relative. If I start off the day at 16 and it jumps up to mid 20s, high 20s, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And, people will go mid 20s, especially people from Hawaii who maybe never been to mainland and experienced those kind of temps. They just shake their heads, man.
Oh, I know.
You know, they keep ice cream in temperatures that are warmer than I'm living
I know,
through right
right?
now.
I know. And I have some friends coming in a few weeks to go to a Packer game on the 19th. And I don't think they have any idea what they're in for. It was their idea. It was their idea because I go in October or September or August, so like for a pregame, when it's warm. But nope, they wanted to do December 19th, so I don't think they have any clue what we're in for, especially on metal seats at Lambeau.
Oh, and they're just
I'm ready.
it's nice to have gotten to the point where you understand the benefits of layering your clothes. And
Oh, for sure. And the importance of quality footwear.
in fact, just recently, probably no more than 2 or 3 years, I've discovered hand warmers for inside my gloves, and
Yeah,
that makes a world of difference.
those are magic. I buy them in bulk.
And then I saw something on TV or the internet. It's a uh, heated scarf. You press a button, it heats a scarf up. And I'm thinking, okay, that would maybe be a nice Christmas present this year.
Yes, or even the jackets that heat up full on for deer hunting or whatever. I could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Or with your new venture into ice fishing.
Yes, yes. But,
I
with
went,
the ice fishing, you got the hut, so at least you're out of the wind, you know? But I'm
yeah.
excited. Have you ice fished?
I did it one time with my son-in-law, and it was bare bones, nothing fancy. We were enclosed, but I was still just freezing. Nothing was biting, so we're both staring like idiots at this rig, please bell rings, so there'd be something to do.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much just sit there and drink way too much beer and come home with no fish. So, but I've been out with other friends who, more advanced. They get the ice house, it's heated, and
Mhm.
you know, there's a couch in the corner for when you get too tired. I'm going, wow, this is like, too deluxe.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then again, too, I see where they have to keep it and store it and prepare it. And I'm going, it's a lot of
mhm,
off season
yeah,
energy for sitting there and waiting for fish to bite.
yeah. I think I'm gonna land somewhere in between with a hut. I don't know about the heat or the couch, but a hut and a bucket, and I'm okay. And some beer. Well, that would be good too.
There you go. And then too, like, in Hawaii primarily, except when you bottom fish or something, you're moving, you're trolling or you're casting. So the ice fishing to me was just too much and nothing, you know.
Sure,
So I guess my patience wasn't quite prepared for that experience. So,
sure,
but I can see where people can have a good time with it. Everybody gets into something. So,
sure.
and then even like my friends that actively hunt, you're sitting at a tree stand, sitting, waiting, whereas
Forever.
back home, it's more they're hunting, they're out there following dogs or whatever, they're in my mind hunting and not waiting to just get lucky in the right place at the right
Yeah,
time.
I agree. I
So,
don't know how people sit. My husband does it. He's doing it right now. It's the end of bow season and I don't know how he does it because he is ADD and he's got so much energy. I don't I'm not sure how he manages it. I really don't.
and my friends that bull hunt tell me that, your movements are so slow and stealthy, like you might take 7 or 8 minutes just moving to the point where you're aimed properly, just because you don't
Yeah.
want to spook the deer. And I'm going, wow, I don't know, that's way more patience than I was given. So,
Me too. Me too.
but to each their own, to each their own. Let's see, you mentioned having two kids, and it sounds like they've both been back to Hawaii and spent quite a bit of time with the family that's back there, or
Oh
getting
yeah.
to really know what Hawaii is about. So I always enjoy when I talk to people who visit and they get to actually see what I consider the real Hawaii. They get out of Waikiki and, out to Kaava and North Shore and maybe even to the outer islands. I have a handful of friends who really enjoy visiting the Big Island and they won't go back to Honolulu anymore
Hmm.
just because they're so enamored with it all. And I've got a couple more friends now that are on Big Island and they're all ecstatic by the eruption and the
I know.
lava. And
So exciting.
yeah. Do you have any good friends, classmates, family on Big Island?
Oh, I've got a lot of friends and family on Big Island. In fact, I've been getting pictures pretty much all morning, which is very exciting. Yeah, I have quite a bit of family up near Volcano, and then
Yeah.
some in Kona, and then some scattered. But a couple of my cousins have bought homes up at Volcano too to retire, and they've been driving over and sending pictures. It just looks amazing.
I know it's funny too. I have a coworker who has never been, he's probably never been on more than 150 miles from Fairmont, born and raised farmer. And he was asking if, I I told him I grew up on a different island. He goes, well, but are you still in danger from the volcano? I said, not if you're not in its path or right nearby. It doesn't like jump islands somehow or get carried by the wind, or I don't
I
know
know.
what's going through his mind, but
Oh, I know. I have a friend. He's a dentist, and he just went to Maui 2 weeks ago, and he asked me if I was just sure he could get Diet Mountain Dew on Maui, and I I was like, I'm pretty sure, yes. Well, are you sure, or should I be taking some? And I said, oh my goodness. Yeah, no idea unless you go, unless you see. And I was really lucky with both my kids going to explorations and then the subsequent programs after. My daughter dances hula, and she's in Ilima's halau here in Des Moines.
oh,
They
right
get
on.
together on Sundays and that sort of thing. She loves to play ukulele, and I mean, she loves everything Hawaii. Unfortunately, she's blonde and blue eyes, and so she shows up, and people are like, "What?" I mean, same for me, in high school, but because I obviously looked like my dad, but she loves it. I mean, just really loves everything about Hawaii. Would move there in a heartbeat if she could.
Yeah, because you did mention she spent 2 years at UH, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
At that point, did she have a major in mind?
business major.
Okay.
Yeah,
That always interested her.
yeah, yeah.
Good,
And her
good.
dad, her dad ran his own business for a lot of years too. We were both running two separate businesses for 25 years.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So when was the last time you were in Hawaii?
I went home in June
Oh,
for my 40th up at Kapalama. Although it was very different, excuse me. It was very different because it was COVID protocols.
oh,
Yeah.
was that when they celebrated your actual year then?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
And before that, when was your last trip? Like, do you get home every
I get.
five, every seven,
I'm
maybe? Or
really fortunate. I bank a lot of miles, and so I go back. Excuse me. A couple times a year.
more? Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Even during COVID, I went.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a funeral to go to, and I thought, you know what, I'm going. And it was really different, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. I went home in June of 2020 to bring my mom from Molokai up here to live with us in Minnesota. And, Molokai has always been unofficially cliquish. If you don't live there, I used to live there. I was born there, but I got off the plane, and I don't know if COVID added to it, but there was a real paranoia I could sense every
Mhm.
time I walk up and somebody would realize I don't recognize this guy. And
Yeah.
while I was at my mom's house, the state had asked me for a contact phone number and what address I was going to be at. And I was there for 4 days. They actually called me once to confirm that I was at her address and not wandering around. And
Hmm.
I took her trash can out to the curb for her, and a car pulled up and stopped and asked me who I was. So it was
Wow.
really, really weird from what I was used to about Hawaii. And I don't know if I can say it was all due to COVID or just maybe the islands changed. I don't know.
Sure. Felt very
Yeah.
unfriendly. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it felt to me. You had to mask up everywhere. Nobody wanted to see me. I was like, I'm home, everybody, like we go. And nobody wanted to see me, and everybody wanted to wear masks. And I understand that, especially with Kupuna, but yeah, it was not my best visit for sure. And then I had to stay at the outrigger for a couple days to tie up some family business in town, and driving back and forth is a hassle. So I stayed at the hour, and that was a nightmare. I mean, I was like an hour of check-in, the check-in at, how you come to the airport and they have all the protocols, but the hotel was 10 times worse. I mean, it was 10
Wow.
times, and it was so miserable. No, there was no food. It was just it was just misery. And I thought, oh, I'm not coming back until this is all over.
Yeah, it was a hard time for a lot of people. So
Hmm.
just craziness. So hopefully it's relaxing a little bit. When I was there this past June, took my mom's ashes home, and it seemed more comfortable. It was more like how I remembered it, and people were out and about. I mean, they were asking people like a strong suggestion that you wear a mask, but nothing was required, or
Hmm.
and people were taking steps like if they had any kind of social event or group meeting, they were holding it outside, not containing it, building a room or something where I don't know, maybe it make the situation worse. But yeah, it's different. I'm supposed to go back first weekend in March too, and it's not looking so promising as far as well, flight rates for one thing. I mean, I think I got a little spoiled through COVID when you could go back home round trip for $200 or $300.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's a lot higher, right?
Yeah. I think the lowest I found, and it was gone in 24 hours, like 573 round trip or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it gets pretty tough that way. Let's see. Mhm. Do you have plans for your next trip to Hawaii?
I was hoping to go this month, but it didn't work out with everybody coming for the Green Bay Packer game. I can't do both. I can't take
Uh,
that much time off of work. Um, but I'm hoping maybe February, maybe before spring break, or but when I go, I want to take a chunk of time. I like to go for like at least 2, 3 weeks. Because I mean it's such a long way to go. I don't
yeah.
live near an international airport that flies direct, so I have to hop, and so it's a lot of time in the air. Des Moines, you got to fly to Denver or Phoenix or Minneapolis or Chicago, and it's just a
Oh,
hassle.
I guess I imagine with the size of Des Moines, I thought there would be, but I guess maybe.
Oh, we only have 3 baggage claims. It's just very small. It's very
Wow.
small. I
Sounds
remember when
like.
it came from Hawaii to go to Drake, and the nine of us, or I think 9 of us were on the same plane from Hawaii. We got there and there was only one baggage claim, and we all thought we were in the wrong place. We said, what baggage claim are we at? And they said, there's only one. And I was like, oh. uh,
Which baggage claim is ours? Or the round one?
yeah.
The round one is you guys.
Yeah. Now there's only 3. They upgraded to 3, but you can see all 3 right
Yeah.
there.
So you leave Des Moines by plane. You have to go to a
Uh-huh.
international hub of some kind.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. That kind of adds a little bit of extra pilikia, I think, but
Yes. And
it is what
expensive.
it is.
It's expensive to fly out of Des Moines. It uses up a
Wow.
lot of miles.
So there's nowhere in Iowa. You got to actually leave the state to get to an airport that'll fly you
Mhm.
out.
Used to be you could
Wow.
drive to Omaha, but then you've got to park your car, stay overnight, then all that added trouble again. And
Yeah.
then if it's snowing, you got to try to make it back. So now I just fly out of Des Moines. It's just easier.
Less hassle.
Yeah, yeah, I
More
think so.
money, but less hassle. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I was going to check since you live in Des Moines. I came down, I believe it was October of 21 to that celebration festival.
Yes.
But did they move that to the spring? Because I was
No,
looking for it this year and I didn't really.
it was maybe 2, 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did go to walk around and see. I thought there was Emma's Halal was supposed to be dancing. And so I did go down. It was so crowded. It's gotten very, very big. And there was 2
Yeah.
guys there that I had huli huli chicken. A guy from Hilo, and another guy. Um, they had a huli huli chicken stand.
Oh, did you try some?
Flippin' Hawaiian chicken, I think it was called. Yeah, no, the line was too long. I was like,
Oh, wow.
but they looked like they were very, very successful. And I got to meet in fact at the event that we had at Easter Lake, I met one of them, the guy from Hilo, Dustin.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'll have to keep an eye. I think what happened is since I was imagining it would probably repeat in October again this year, I probably started looking for it too late.
Maybe it was the end of September. I can't really remember. I do remember it was warm. I mean, it was really, really warm, hot, in fact.
Yeah.
And then it was just packed. And they had it down at the gateway of Des Moines, down by the sculpture park.
Yeah, that was when I went last year. I was amazed by the size of it and you know the venue itself and how it was set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's a staple of the event, but they had a balut eating contest
No
up on
way.
stage. And there was a guy who downed like three or four of them and won it with that. I said, "Wow, that's
That's amazing.
congratulations! You
Yeah,
deserve your prize."
go you. Go
'Cause,
you.
I mean, I haven't even ever touched one just out of fear of catching something. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen him. I've seen it in a plate or on a pot or something, but
Yeah, no, thank you.
yeah, feathers is not big on my diet list. So,
No, no. I walked around and I looked for somebody doing spam musubi or something like that, but I didn't find anybody,
huh?
unfortunately.
Yeah, because last year I think the only people that were are the people that have that place in Ankeny.
Yeah, yeah,
That
Alohana.
was the only one. I don't know, remember the name of it, but they were there. They were next to I don't know what kind of organization, but Stacy was there, and they were
Yeah,
selling just items and stuff. So
yeah.
so it was a neat event. I definitely go again. I guess hopefully this time if I can find out the correct dates. So
Yeah. Well, I hear up in Minnesota, the Asian Mall just opened up.
I went last weekend.
Was it nice?
Thanksgiving good. Pretty nice for it's an old Gander Mountain. I don't know if they have that chain in Iowa, but it's a sporting goods store.
Sure.
Big one like Shields, but went out of business, so the guy secured the building, and it's got a good sized market in it. Did you ever get to like the ranch market on Oahu?
Oh, the Coolor Ranch?
No, ranch market. It's a Asian grocery store, but it's one of those places where if you don't read the language, you have no way of knowing what you're buying because all the
Oh,
cans, the packaging are all I want to say Asian of some kind because I'm not even sure it's all Chinese or what, but
yeah,
like you try to look at the pictures and hopefully you can decipher what you think it is, but
yeah.
otherwise you need to go with somebody who can read the language and let you know. And
Yeah.
typical, lots of raw parts for exotic recipes, and I didn't really see anything real familiar. They had some um oh boy, what's that red Philippine tocino, the Filipino
Tocino,
sausage.
Stan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the only thing I really recognized, but they had other items like that, and then tons and tons of um obviously foreign secured ramen type stuff or something. And they've got a hot pot place in the building too that they weren't going to open till 2 and I wasn't going to stay there that long, but I've been wanting to because it such sounds like Matt and them have gone to a hot pot place and they love it. They like the concept of it. So and
Hmm.
it sounds just as local as you can get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just ran in, did a video, showed what's in there, talked about it a little bit, just so that whoever wants to go kind of has a little bit of heads up before they go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be nice. I've got that on the DFO site. So I plan to go back and actually spend more time there. Actually, go look around more deeply. I just ran down the storefronts and through the market and this and that, and it's got incredible parking. It's a huge parking lot. They've got underground parking. So, and it was packed. So if they maintain the same kind of flow, it's probably going to be a
For
very
sure.
successful but busy place.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah. You guys have any really good, I wouldn't call it local, but let's say foods that you enjoy that you're kind of used to in Des Moines?
Not too much. No, we've got Sea Fresh Market, which is really heaven sent, in terms of getting ingredients and stuff that you need if you want to make, if you need taro or whatever.
Oh,
But
okay.
no, there's not really any good places to eat. There's a nice Japanese place downtown, Miyabi 9. Um, but I can't think of anything else. Supposedly
Mm.
some Korean places opening up soon. But it seems like Korean places never make it. I don't know why. We've had so many and that haven't made it.
And I
And then
just
there's Lucky
recently
Lotus.
learned my lesson when I was searching around in Minneapolis is one of my favorite dishes is meat jun,
Hmm.
but I learned that that's a Hawaii Korean dish
Yeah.
because I've gone into Korean restaurants here and they give me that funny look like, oh, never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, no, Des Moines is not much for the local food scene.
Mm,
Ankeny is about as close, and it's spam musubi, chicken katsu, that kind of thing. Look
some
like Alabama.
standards, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not like
Now
Lao
you
Baos or anything.
now your kids and your husband, are they open-minded eaters?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always like to ask because I've got 9 grandkids, and one of them is just, I think she has 3 foods in the whole world she'll eat and nothing else. She is as picky as they get. So,
Yeah, no, my
and
daughter is very adventurous eater. She loves whatever you put in front of her.
good, good, good.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to travel, I think, that way too.
I think so too.
When I
Yeah.
was little, my dad's advice was, well, watch somebody eat it. If they don't drop dead in 10 minutes, you can eat it too. So, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I grew up surrounded on Molokai by Filipino families, so I like all my dinuguan and pancit and the stuff that's got parts of the pig that no one's ever really seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. Not on their plate anyway.
Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
good. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Diane.
Well, thank you.
I think this gave people a good picture of life in Des Moines,
Yeah. It's pretty
and
awesome. And there's a lot of us here. There's a lot. It's more my mom's generation and then a little bit younger, like Stacy guys, but
yeah,
it's a great place. It really is.
good. Well, I hope we have something like we had at that park again. That'd
Yeah.
be nice when it's warmer. So
Yeah.
that's probably looking at May, but that's
Yeah.
life in Minnesota or Iowa.
Yeah. It would be fun if we could all get together again.
That'd be great, great. Mahalo nui for sitting with us and talking story.
You
I had a
bet.
great time.
Yeah.
Enjoy your
Good to
week
see you.
and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. Aloha.
Aloha.
Bye bye.